In September of 2016, I was 26 years old and I had just moved back in with my parents. I had a 6-month-old little girl and I was going through a divorce. And that's terrifying, to take all of these steps forward in your life and then have to take all of these steps back. And I will never forget the day that my phone rang. It was like an 800 number, and I answered it, and it was my credit union. They're like, "Hi, is Shannon Sainert there?" "Yes, this is she." "Well, this is so-and-so from credit union, and I'm calling to let you know that if you do not make a payment on your car, we're going to come repossess it." I will never forget that feeling in my gut of, oh my gosh, how did I get here? What is going on? What's happening? That was rock bottom for me. So over my entire life, I have really struggled with money, and I don't know why. I like to buy things, but I've made a lot of very poor money decisions. So September of 16 was a wake-up call for me. How did I get here, and why am I here? And what am I going to do to get myself out? Because I've got this 6-month-old little girl looking at me as a role model, and I'm living at home for free, for absolute free. My parents were paying for everything for me, which is very hard to swallow, somewhat humiliating, honestly. But I had to figure out, why was I here and how am I going to get myself out? So growing up, we didn't really talk a lot about money. It was just kind of, money was just part of life, and I didn't get a lot of education on it. So whenever I turned 18, and I didn't work throughout high school, I wish I would have, so parents, make your kids work. Whenever I turned 18, I got my first job, and I worked at a call center, and every time I'd get paid, like, all right, $20 for gas, the rest McDonald's or whatever, whatever I wanted to do, clothes, just these silly things. And I was always spending money. My pocket always had a hole burnt in it because the money was just sitting there like, spend me. So I'm a spender at heart. I really struggle with saving money. So when I got to that point of, you have no money left, and if you don't make a payment, you're going to start losing these things, that was really difficult for me, and I really didn't know where to turn. I started looking for some type of plan, and the only plan that I'd ever heard of was Dave Ramsey. So I started researching him. Fun fact, I've actually taken his class twice, but finished 0 times. So I've only made it halfway through twice. It's very unfortunate. But I just kind of dove straight into his teachings and his practices. I started listening to his podcast. I started buying all of his books, anything that I could do to really completely immerse myself into his practices and his preachings, if you will. So I just jumped right in, and the first thing was creating a budget. And I remember writing out my budget, my first real budget as a single parent, only one income, and everything was red. Red as in past due, or in collections, or don't have enough money. And that's terrifying to see that on paper. I would typically run away from something like that. So, okay, we're here. Everything is red. Great. Couldn't really get any worse. So I started writing out, what is my income and what are my expenses? And like I said, it was in the red. So in order to get me out of the red, I had to come up with money really quickly. And that, to me at that time, was impossible. What am I really gonna do? So I sold things. I had a 6-month-old, so I sold diapers, clothes, toys, my clothes, furniture. I had just moved. I had all this extra crap. A lot of it was just sitting in storage. So I really got on fire. How am I going to come up with money ASAP to get myself at least started, get the ball rolling, get that momentum going? So that's where I started. Once I got that going, I kind of got addicted, and I got addicted to that feeling of winning. I got addicted to the feeling of momentum. And I'll tell you, my income did not change drastically throughout the entire time that I was paying off my debt. What did change was my mindset, and that mindset was the addiction to winning. So I organized all of my debts from smallest to largest. I had $35,700 of debt, and that debt consisted of credit cards, personal loans, car loans, lawyer fees, medical debt, and then the biggest, student loans. That was over half of my money that I owed. So just starting to make a plan, and you start with the smallest. If you follow Dave Ramsey's plan, you're going to start with the smallest debt first. Now, I'm not saying there's only one way to get to your goal. If your goal is financial freedom, there are tons of plans out there. So find what works best for you, but commit to it. So for me, it was Dave Ramsey. So I started with the smallest debt, which was my personal credit card. When I say it was around $520. What can I do to pay that off? So again, my budget, I stuck to my budget, and I really didn't have a lot of wiggle room on there, but I had my starter emergency fund of $1,000. So what can I do to get that thing paid off? And I remember I had a garage sale at my mom's house. It was stupid. It was so dumb. Last minute, thrown together. But I made over $350 in just a couple hours, and it was all like kids stuff. So like kids' toys, like the little jumper things, everything that you think you have to have whenever you have a kid, gone, all of it. So it was that quick win, that momentum, and it really just kept me going. So a lot of what I experienced throughout my debt-free journey was sacrifice and discipline. And the sacrifice is extremely painful. It can be something as simple as, no, I can't go to that concert with you guys. I'll have to wait. I remember a Luke Bryan concert opportunity came up. The ticket was like only, $30. But by the time you get the outfit and all this stuff, I was like, I don't even want to put myself in that situation. And it's hard. And not everyone understands, but you have to stay committed to it and stay disciplined and focused. It could be something as simple as, you're at Walmart and you're going down the grocery aisle and you really want that thing of pudding, I don't know, and you don't put it in your cart. But what always happened to me was I always ended up in the clothing section. And Walmart is affordable and it has some good quality things. So it's like, oh, look at this $5 shirt, it's on sale. But little things like that add up over time. So it's those little sacrifices. And then you have big sacrifices like living at home. And I thank my parents so much for giving me that opportunity, because it helped me gain that momentum and it helped me save a lot of money over time. But man, it was hard. It was hard to go from being a mom and a wife and you kind of got your shit together to, I live at home. And I had just moved back to a new town, so I was meeting new people, and these new people are like, oh, where do you live? Where do you work? What do you do? And I remember feeling that like embarrassment in my gut, and it's not something that I was proud of, but it was a huge sacrifice that I had to make in order to get me to where I want to be. So the entire debt-free journey was nothing but struggle and sacrifice, but also wins. And holding on to those wins and actually sitting back and feeling the win. Having that connection with yourself of, I'm proud of myself. Look at what I did. I am kicking ass at this. I am making progress. I am moving forward. Those are the things that I had to really hold on to. So started my journey in September of 2016 with $35,700 of debt. February 23rd, 2018, I made my final debt payment on my student loan. Thank God, Sally Mae, she's gone. Navient, they're gone. I never have to deal with them ever again. And I'll tell you, when I made that final payment, when I hit that submit button, I had taken the entire day off. I'm like, this is going to be so awesome. I'm going to relax. Remember, I went and got my hair done, got my hair cut for the first time in over a year and a half. And I remember like getting ready to hit that button thinking, this is gonna feel awesome. And I hit submit and I was like, I feel the same. Like nothing happened. No feelings, no rejoice, no celebration. It was nothing. It was just like, okay, now what? But that was because my mindset was already so far forward on that next goal that it was like, okay, yeah. Pat yourself on the back. That's a huge accomplishment. All of that debt in 17 months. But we're not done. We're just getting started. So since then, it's a year later. What have I accomplished? Well, that momentum kept going after I made my final debt payment, and I was able to save up money to buy a car with cash. Yeah, so that horrible car that had all those negative emotions attached to it from the repossession that never happened, but it was a potential, gone. I sold that thing whenever I was in my debt-free journey, and I was able to save up $7,000 in 3 months living at home, and I bought a car with cash. And man, that car is a 2010. It had quite a few miles on it, but you know what? It was mine. It wasn't the bank's, it was mine. You know, you pull up to a stoplight and you look over sometimes at that minivan and you're like, yeah, this is paid for. I know it sounds so silly, but now whenever you see a really nice vehicle, for me anyway, I don't look at it like, wow, that car is nice. I think, wow, I wonder what that payment is. Mine is 0. And that's fantastic. It's a fantastic feeling, so freeing. I've also gone on a few vacations, nothing major, but I was able to travel out to Tennessee and do my debt-free scream in September of last year, which was terrifying yet liberating and probably one of the best experiences of my life. I went down to Branson with my family. I've taken a couple trips to Branson actually, and all of it paid for with cash. I've had emergencies come up, paid for with cash. So the biggest thing that I have learned or experienced really being debt-free is just having that freedom. Before, I remember one year I owed $300 for my taxes. Actually, it was whenever I was pregnant. And I remember thinking, how the hell am I gonna come up with $300? It was the end of the world to me. And now it's like, oh, I need a new battery in my car? Okay, pay for it. Or, oh, I need new tires on my car? Okay, pay for it, and you move on. It's not earth-shattering anymore. It's just you make the payment, okay, ouch, and you move on. So the mindset, the freedom, that feeling of I can do whatever I want to do now with my money, that is what you get whenever you stay focused on your financial goals. So this whole video series is really about defining me, and you know, I've gone through a lot, especially over the past 3 years now, and I want to let you know that you are not defined by your situation right now. I am not defined by being broke. I am not defined by my car being almost being repossessed. I'm not defined by the fact that I had to move in with my parents for 2 years to pay off my debt. What I am defined by is the fact that I overcame all of that. I'm defined by the fact that I can sacrifice, that I have discipline, that I can reach a goal, that I can do whatever it takes for me to be successful. And that's what you should be defined by too. So don't let your current situation make you feel like you're a victim, because you have the choice to become a victor. And I'm proof of that. Look at my story, look at what I've overcome. You can absolutely do that too. So don't be defined by your situation. You can prevail, and you can be defined by your successes. So I look forward to sharing more with you guys about my life and my journey and things that I've overcome. And I really hope that this can give you the tools and resources to help you overcome as well. So make sure that you check out my page, She Prevails. I'm going to be adding a lot more information to kind of explain what it is and how I can help women overcome defeat in their life and win in every aspect of their life. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.